Hey guys, this is Irie Starcraft, and I'm going to be casting a 3v3 match for you on Monsoon. And I'm very excited because this game was sent to me by a first-timer, if you will, the first game that I've cast of his, and I will refrain from telling you which one of these players that is until the end of this cast, so as not to spoil anything, as I'm assuming he is the winner. I don't know, because most of the games that I get sent to me, the person who sent them won the game. That is, and when I say most, that's an understatement. So anyway, let me do the introductions here. It will be Sour, the red Terran. His teammate will be AleMo, the teal Protoss, and their teammate will be danman, the blue Zerg, and the opponents of them will be Sarge, the yellow Terran, his teammate Blackout, the purple Zerg, and their teammate BoBoForce, the orange Protoss. And so it needs to be said that I just refueled, so I am definitely feeling irie, and I'm excited for this game. I really actually have come to like this map. I've been playing a lot of 3v3s lately to try and get into that diamond level of 3v3. Speaking of which, I recently made diamond in 2v2s, and I've been diamond on 4v4s, so if I can make it up there to diamond in 3v3s, then I will have completed the trifecta of team diamond leagues, and I will be super happy, and then I will feel like I'm actually able to cast these and be somewhat justified, and not be like, oh yeah, that noob silver player is doing all these broadcasts and he thinks he knows what he's talking about. So not that I'm saying that I do know what I'm talking about, but I just like to kind of feel it, you know. Whatever's flowing in the game, I'm just gonna talk about it. So obviously with team games like this, there's so many players, it's so hard to follow each individual player's like build orders and tech structure, so that's why I like to leave the production tab up most of the time for you guys. On early Forge, I'm just noticing from AleMo, so is he going to be trying, does he have a probe up here, like trying to do some kind of cheese? I don't think so. So an interesting, a very early Forge from AleMo. We'll see if he tries to set up any static defense. One thing about this map, Monsoon, is I've really come to like this map. I'm not sure, you have these really safe natural expansions in the back, but each person has a nice safe and secure natural expansion, so it's easy to fast expand, and there's only one walkway across the map from top to bottom to reach each other's bases, and that's right through this choke point. So one thing I've noticed is that teams that rally their units here and are really good at keeping their units grouped up on this map generally seem to succeed. I've done a couple games before. I think actually one failed game that I never posted. There was a couple of games that I did way back, like when I was starting this, that when I was casting them, I didn't know what was going to happen, and this was before I had all you high-level players to send me your games, and it was kind of a crapshoot on these games. I was just downloading replays from websites, hoping that they would be good games, and so a couple of them were like, by the time it was done, I was like, I can't feel right posting that, because the game, it was just too, it wasn't good enough. The level of play wasn't high enough, which is why I started being all, which is why I started saying, let's just do some diamond games, because it just wasn't as intense. I just couldn't get as into it, because I'm sitting there going, and this guy decided not to move his units with the rest of his teammates' armies, and that's why they lost. So when that's your analysis, it's kind of like, okay, like that game wasn't actually that good at all. And it's all about having good games to cast, which is why I'm looking forward to a brand new uploader's games, who I said as before I will not reveal who that player is. And since there's still no action going on as far as battles go, we can talk about what is everybody getting right now, because there is a lot of roaches out for danman, and meanwhile his partner Sour is definitely getting a marauder heavy army here. He does have his double gases fully going. I mean, he should probably have that by now anyway, but he only has 2 barracks as far as producing structures. So what is he going to be going for? He has a lot of gas banks. We'll see. And AleMo, meanwhile, he does have 2 gateways. He has his forge, so he's been getting out. He's actually going for a quick armor upgrade. So very very interesting there. I'm not sure if that's just a noob play or if he has some kind of plan for this. He did throw down one photon cannon. That's something, and that's another thing that I've been having experiences with lately in these these team games. Is I swear to God, every time that I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna be pumping units because we're gonna be rushing or whatever, and I don't throw down any kind of defense in as you see a dropship now loading up with units here. So are we gonna see a timed two-prong attack? There's gonna be a drop in the Protoss base here, and then at the same time they're going to press out. So I'll continue what I was blabbing on about later. Maybe I'll remember what that was, because I always get intrigued when a dropship loads up. I have to see what's going on, as these roaches from Blackout are going to actually start to harass the front of Sour's base. And now I think what they're doing is this army here is going to draw out the Protoss army, and meanwhile BoBoForce is going to be dropping off units and warping in Zealots. So this is going to be a feigned attack. No, because they have moved all the way into the base, so these units are trapped, but they do have better position right now. Look at the concave from Sarge and Blackout taking out units on this ramp, but finally now danman has joined the fight. This queen deciding better to pull back off of that creep, though there are a lot of roaches out for danman, and it looks like he will be able to force this attack back, and Sour even bringing out a few more Marauders to try and help clean that up. Meanwhile, BoBoForce has totally been harassing the Protoss base. So you saw the timing of that attack, and that was really nicely done. If you're not gonna group all your armies together as a team, you gotta have timing on your attack. So if you go, like you saw them split 2 and 1, and look at the amount of damage that BoBoForce is doing right now. AleMo needs to get these probes out of here because the Zealots just have 3 rain on them. Finally, danman bringing roaches in. He's going to be able to kill these stalkers in the back, and these Zealots will go down. I think it's just a matter of time here. The Zealots kind of surrounding some probes. Are they going to go for the cannon here? They are going to be trying to take out this cannon, though there will be one more cannon back there later. So in case he was trying to preemptively do some kind of setting up this base for a further harass, which is what he was trying to do, because he's still got this warp prism inside AleMo's base, but danman with these roaches will be able to clean that up. These stalkers should be able to force back this warp prism finally. So a pretty even exchange ended up happening over here at danman's base, but meanwhile BoBoForce did do a lot of economic damage to AleMo. This cybernetics core is still unpowered. He needs to fix that situation in a hurry, and AleMo, or does he even need to? Because, well, I guess, see, this is something I'm not 100% sure of. If you have an unpowered building like a cybernetics core, is he able to build a like a Twilight Council, for example, or does that have to be repowered? I'm sorry, you guys, I'm not 100% sure on that, because I remember noticing that, I think, in a game where I had a cybernetics core unpowered, and I was like, wait a minute, I can still build a building. Maybe I am just tripping, but either way, I will figure that out at some point and probably let you know if you didn't know. Meanwhile, everybody has opted to take their expansion wisely because it is so easy, so easy to protect. And at the same time, Blackout is spreading his overlords out here. I like this right here. He's got his overlord spread to cover the entire length of the middle here, whereas danman only has this one part. So so anyway, Blackout has yes, I'm definitely fueled up right now, Protec. And but that was really sweet. This is sweet how Blackout has covered this entire front line of vision, so they will be able to see any kind of drop or harassment or mutas or any kind of like shenanigans that just drives you absolutely crazy. It just drives me absolutely crazy having mutas in my base and dropships coming in, and you're just like, oh, bang your head on the keyboard. But at the same time, that is how you win in these high-level games. So Blackout, he does have a burrow for his roaches, so he's brought his roaches down to the front. Maybe going to try and sort of do a counter-attack strategy, either that or just at least wait for his teammates